body chasing the truth.
So Pat McAfee said yesterday he would never have Aaron Rodgers on his show again, that he was happy about it, that he was excited to move on. You know, I'm a little confused because I assume that they're friends. And if they are friends, with friends like that, who needs enemies? So let's get into what he said yesterday about Aaron Rodgers and we'll break it down.
But everybody talked about him being, this is the best corner that Michigan has. And also Sanders still is the second best guy in their secondary. Both of them basically play their biggest game in the biggest moment, which is the story of that Michigan Wolverines team. He might be joining us. There's some other people that might be stopping by. What we do know is the guy that stopped by yesterday caused quite a conversation.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
Now,
per usual.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. The first thing he said, the guy that stopped by yesterday, he didn't just, you know, for him to be on the show, you have to have him on the show. He didn't just stop in. You make it sound like he knocked on your door and said, hey, I'm Aaron Rodgers. Let me sit down, or can I get a cup of tea and sit down with you? You had him on the show. What do you mean he just stopped in? He didn't just stop anywhere. So that's the first thing I don't understand.
So Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, season 4 is done.
Yeah. Complete season.
There's going to be a lot of people that are happy with that, myself included, to be honest. With the way it ended, it got real loud. And real loud. I'm happy that is not going to be my mentions going forward, which is great news. We always, and this is legit, and I think...
All right, hold on. So you mean to tell me that you had no idea what he might talk about when he came on the show? Is that your take, McAfee? You're really going to sit there and say, oh, I had no clue what he was going to say? He let you know in a day in advance, Aaron Rodgers, that he was coming on the show to address the Jimmy Kimmel situation, and now you're acting like, oh, I just was clueless. I had no idea what that man was going to say, and you're all clapping. All right, before we even watch the video even more, what did he actually say that was so offensive? I'm really confused because I watched what Aaron Rodgers said, and all he did was clarify what he said about Jimmy Kimmel. That's his actual statement that he clarified, and he's entitled to have his opinion about certain medications given to the public. So what was just so terrible that everybody just goes crazy about, that they just, want to ban Aaron Rodgers from planet Earth at this point? Like, I don't get how fragile everyone is. What did he say anything hurtful? Did he say anything racist? Did he say... No, he strictly went over what he said, explained what he said, and then told his point of view. Back when men were men, which men haven't been men for a long time, in high school, in middle school, in college, there was debate class, right? People were allowed to debate. You went to the podium, the other person went to their podium, you said your point of view, they said their point of view, that was the end of it. But not in today. And see, the reason why this goes on today is because of clowns like McAfee, right? Instead of getting on his show and saying, hey, look, I don't care if you like it or not. The man's entitled to his opinion. He didn't say anything hateful. He didn't say anything harmful. Jimmy Kimmel goes on his show night after night after night, and anybody that's conservative, he talks about their kids, their wives. He goes, look at Trump. Okay, fine, you don't like Trump. That's your right. Whoever doesn't like him, you don't like the guy. But you're going to tell me that it's professional to use your platform to go after his wife and kids? Talk about Barron when Barron wasn't even a teenager yet? Say that he had learning disabilities and all types of nonsense? But that's okay, right? That's all right?
Never going to act like people are out to get people.
Sure.
But throughout my life, there's been a lot of people that have definitely wanted to see me not do good because I'm an uber confident human being, loud. And if I think you're trying to hold me or my guys back, like, I'm an asshole too. Certainly have zero, don't need you. Hey, what are you? Nothing. Sweet. See ya. Keep it moving. So there was
all right, can somebody please answer this if you watched the video? When what he just said, somebody that's trying to hold my guys back and doesn't want to see me succeed, is he trying to say that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to see him succeed? and is trying to hold his guys back? Is he blaming Aaron Rodgers for that? I'm really confused by this.
Some people, especially when, I negotiate my own deal here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole business there.
Right. Couple jobs.
Yeah, connections, a lot of stuff like that. See ya. Hey, I'm running my show.
Oh yeah.
I keep my creative rights. Okay, 100%.
No, you don't.
Who's gonna create me and my guys? That's gonna.
Nobody creates. I don't even want to get into that. So let's just.
That's how this
take play.
That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother entire profession. No, con man, you can just keep your sound effects to yourself.
Okay.
In this exact moment, that's a whole nother profession. People, a lot of people. So you got this group here, and then we've cut the line too a lot, because this is supposed to be like a union.
Okay, Danielson, hold on a minute. Wax on, wax off. I have no clue what you're saying. Like you're talking in Morse code. Who are you blaming for this? Are you blaming Aaron Rodgers? Are you blaming the powers that be that he put them on the show? Where are you going with this? Like, why can't you just act like a man and say, I never wanted to have Aaron Rodgers on my show. They made him come on the show. If that's what you're trying to indicate, then why don't you just say it? Why don't you just say what you're really trying to say? No, let's talk in Morse code. Let's talk in a riddle. That's what cowards do. That's what McAfee's doing, because I have no clue what the hell he's trying to say.
You just kind of wait for others, and you go. So then you got like that group, right? So going in, we knew that we.
I love how all the guys on his show are like, yeah, They have no clue. They're like, in the back of their minds, like, I have no effing idea what he's talking about right now.
We potentially ruffled some feathers in about 3 to 5 professions that have a lot of power and a lot of say. And we understood it. We completely understood it. I appreciated it. I have a lot of respect for a lot of agents. There's a lot of horrendous horseshit ones, though, that somehow get by. And they kind of make the good agents look bad, by the way. So that is just that. This whole thing, I don't believe in any of them. Like the middle management producers that run shows and stuff and create headlines and ideas and stuff. None of them have a lot of respect for me. I don't have a lot of respect for them, which is why I'm like, don't put us up for the Emmys. Don't want to be an Emmy person, because these are the humans that are voting on them. Now, through our times, I've found like 3 to 4 of these people that are good at their jobs and creative and fun. Most of them, though, just kind of very, this type of thing. Don't really get along with much
That's
of
all the cast.
And then all these people that think we jump line and we don't deserve it, like those people have hated us since we were on the internet. I have a lot of respect for them and their hustle and their grind, but they were going to be against us forever. And we knew that. I knew that coming into this. And over the last week, we have certainly given them all a lot of stuff to get mad about and become loud about. We have messed up in that particular
Wait, hold on. So let me get this straight. You messed up because another American citizen came on your show, didn't insult anybody, didn't say anything discriminatory, and gave his opinion about something. Gave his opinion about a medication. Gave his opinion on the Epstein flight logs. Well, there are Epstein flight logs, and there is a lot of going back and forth about certain medications given to the American public, if it's actually good for you. There is a lot of, questions regarding that situation. So what is the problem? No, the young college kids that have a job on your show that are producers who are been coddled, that think that nobody has a right to have a different opinion of them, or they get to attack them or get them fired from their job. McAfee has to make them feel better and not allow Aaron Rodgers on the show again because of some young kid that needs a safe space because his dad told him to shut up one time in his life. Like, this is 2024, and it's obviously not going to change. It's sickening. People in America, it's just sickening what goes on in this country. So, for instance, if you had Jimmy Kimmel on the Pat McAfee show, and Jimmy Kimmel was destroying conservatives on the show, it would all be jokes and giggles. Oh, he's crazy, man. Oh, great time. They love the McAfee show. And, McAfee would be doing his whole spiel, right? And, of course, the producers, they would all love it. And the New York Post would love it. And everybody would love it. It can only be one way. Now, that side gets to go after kids, wives, children, be super disrespectful in every capacity. But the other side, and I'm not even saying that Rodgers is conservative or liberal, whatever he is, but the other side, who has a different opinion that's slated the conservative viewpoint, even when they tell the truth, or even if they just tell their opinion without any type of insults, you want the man or woman's life to come to an end. It's pathetic. And anybody that harbors other people that act like this, like McAfee's doing right now, making excuses for these types of parasites, your father wants to vomit at the type of human being that you are.
Aspect, and by we, I mean we're a conversation show. People are having conversations. We live in a country that has freedom of speech, but also you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your freedom of speech. So what I'm saying is we've given a lot of people who've been waiting for us to fail a lot of ammo and things to attack us for over the last week, and we would love to get back to the point where we just
the only thing that I'll say about this is, when it comes to sports talk show, I can't be a hypocrite because I smash Ryan Clark every chance I get because he doesn't stick to sports. So I agree 1,000%. If it's a sports show, let's just stick to sports. And that's it. Let's not talk politics. So I agree 1,000%. Now the issue is this. The minute that Aaron Rodgers came on the show and Aaron Rodgers started to drift over into politics, McAfee should have acted like a man and a boss and a big baller and a contract negotiator like he is, right? I'm a big baller. I negotiated my contract. He's John Gotti now, right? The minute somebody started venturing off into politics, he should have said, hey, hold on a minute. We're not taking the show in that direction. If you go in that direction, we're going to turn your camera off. And that's all what it took. So McAfee has to take some responsibility for this whole situation turning into what it turned into. Because I know one thing. If I got hired to do a sports show and I'm at a company and that company is paying me a decent amount of money, no other topic on that show will be other than sports. But this is where ESPN is total hypocrites. Total 1,000% hypocrites. And this is what I mean, how there's two different rules for two different sides. When you watch regular ESPN, not McAfee, you have ESPN hosts all the time, Ryan Clark, this one, that one. They'll be like, well, I want to use my platform. Your platform is to talk about sports. Your platform is not to go into politics. So the ESPN hosts do it all the time. Jamel Hill, Bob Costas, Aaron Rodgers at this point. ESPN commentators do it continuously. And they've been warned multiple times not to do it. Stephen A. Smith does it from time to time. Forget Aaron Rodgers for a second because he's not a full-time ESPN employee. But you have full-time ESPN employees that constantly bring up politics during their show, and they'll say, well, I want to use my platform to do this. No, your platform is to talk about sports, or you should be fired. So when is ESPN going to come down on everybody else that uses their platform for everything else than sports? They don't. That's right, they don't. You know why? Because that other side is a liberal side, and they allow liberals to do and say whatever they want, where if it's viewed as conservative, we're going to cancel you.
Move on and continue to silence all the haters over here who can't negotiate as good as I can. all the people over here who can't create a show as good as us, and all the people up here who are just going to always be here, and they're going to hustle and do their thing, which I respect. But we need to do that, and that is our focus. That is our goal. And Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Famer. He's a 4-time MVP. He's a massive piece of the NFL story. Whenever you go back and tell it, he will be a huge part of it. We are very lucky to get a chance to chat with him and learn from him. Some of his thoughts and opinions, though, do piss off a lot of people. And I'm pumped that is no longer going to be every single Wednesday of my life, which it has been for the last few weeks. On Friday, obviously, I threw us into the fire as well. Forever stand by that. Everything else, though, just can't do that, and not what we want to be known for. And I'm also pumped that I don't have to do these types of talks anymore. So with that being said, sports are alive right now. There's so much happening.
All right. Here's the problem that I have with this. So, like I was saying before, you waited. As soon as Aaron Rodgers started to speak about politics, why didn't you cut him off? Why didn't you say we're not going to go there? You let it go. How come ESPN isn't as brave with Ryan Clark, Stephen A. Smith, Jamil Hill? They bring up politics all the time. You can't watch a segment of ESPN without hearing about politics. I don't see ESPN giving them warnings. I don't see everybody getting pissed off at them. So Aaron Rodgers came on your show to clear up the comments that he said, and he managed to piss a lot of people off. So wait, so now in America in 2024, when you piss people off, you don't have the right to say what you feel, but a certain side gets to say whatever they want. I mean, you see where I'm going with this, right? It's absolutely disgusting. And I wouldn't expect anything less from McAfee. Again, I'm assuming that him and Aaron Rodgers are friends. If this is your friend, Rodgers, who needs enemies? The whole Jimmy Kimmel situation was started by Jimmy Kimmel. He got on his show on late night, started calling anybody that thinks like Aaron Rodgers conspiracy theorists, wears tinfoil hats, needs to be locked up in mental institutions, insulted anybody that doesn't believe in that side. I don't want to mention conservatives, Democrats. I don't want to even go there. But if you're on one side that's considered their side, you're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to have an opinion. If you don't go along with the narrative, you must be canceled. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. That's what cowards do. That's what countries where there's no freedom do. That's North Korea, that's Russia, that's China, where people are afraid to say their opinion. Those countries have cowards and dictators that run them. That's not what America is supposed to be. If you have a different opinion than me, and I'm not insulting you, just because I have a different opinion of you doesn't mean it's an insult. What I'm saying is, if you're having an argument with somebody and it doesn't go to insults, personal insults about race, gender, ethnicity, talking about your family, and we have a different opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. And look at that. On Thursday, January 11th, 2024, look who comes back to the Pat Mcafee show. This must have been odd. Didn't you just say yesterday you were so happy that Aaron Rodgers will never be on the show again, McAfee? Well, this must be real. Did he just stop in again? You know, the man that's single-handedly ruining your show? He just stopped in? Let's listen to what Aaron Rodgers has to say.
Joining us now to chit-chat about massive names being, amicably departed from two teams at a very, very high level is a 4-time NFL MVP and a man who is a Super Bowl champion. Ladies and gentlemen, the last human that Bill Belichick talked to on the field as the New England Patriots head coach, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron, how you doing, pal?
This must be awkward. The man that you said would never be on the show again, he's just there. I mean, Aaron, come on. Can we do something with that mustache? You make a lot of money to have that stash gone. This must be very, very awkward, but let's listen.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, you look fantastic. You look great. Clearer than whenever you usually call us from wherever, actually.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I'm out here in the woods, so I'm glad I can't see you guys, so this is perfect.
All right, top of line. You look great. You need to know that. You're out in the woods, obviously, doing your off-season stuff.
Activities,
ventures. Is that a good way to describe it?
That the off season has begun. Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'm happy you take some time here to chit-chat with us because obviously with Bill Belichick, you were the last human that he talked to on the field.
Hold on. I'm really confused. So now he's happy he's back on the show? Am I living in an alternate universe? He said yesterday he was happy he's gone. Now he's happy he's back. I mean, McAfee, it wasn't even 24 hours yet. Can you make up your mind?
As the New England Patriots head coach, now we know that for sure. Whenever you think about them moving on, Connor got emotional about the dynasty ending officially. What are your thoughts on Bill Belichick leaving New England, but definitely going to play somewhere or coach somewhere else?
Is that what he said? Did he say he's going to definitely keep coaching?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lifer.
Yeah.
He seems like a lifer. It's tough. I mean, you have not just Bill, but Nick Saban announced his retirement. Is that true as well?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've been kind of, insulated here from a lot of the internet. The internet's a little spotty here, being out in the woods, so it's kind of nice. But I did see that, and it's too bad. Those are two iconic coaches. I think in general, when we play this game, we love this game. There's this idea about game changers and people who actually change the game. And in actuality, there's very few people who really move the game forward, players or coaches. But when you're talking about people who actually made a difference in the game and moved the game forward and were trailblazers and game changers, Bill Belichick and Nick Saban were those guys. And Bill did things his own way and had a ton of success with it, and people tried to copy it and couldn't do it. I think that's the greatest compliment you can give Bill, besides the respect of competing against him. And that's what I always try to give when I saw him. One of my favorite things about Bill is his love for the game, whether he's talking about the top 100 players or, watching some of those segments or whether it's him and I BSing on the field before a Week 18 ultimately meaningless as far as in the standings game about a 2019 game that happened at MetLife and, throwing a backside post route to Alan Lazard in kind of a torrential, snow down. Was just the guy he is. But my favorite story of my own interaction with Bill was we played him in 2018 and 2022, and both times he waited to make sure that he saw me after the game. And I just thought that was one of the classiest things ever, and I have so much respect for him doing that. 2018, I was having a conversation with Tom. They beat us at their place, and he waited. And after, because coaches a lot of times just go over, shake the other coach's hand. Sometimes there's some words back and forth, but go over, shake the other coach's hand, and then they're out, right? But Bill waited for me. And then in 2022, I actually was doing an interview on the field after we beat him in a game that went.
Is it just me, or do you get the vibe that McAfee and Hawk really don't like him? Because it has nothing to do with what's being said. That's just the impression that I get. So now I'm under the impression that they're not really friends and that the producers keep having Aaron Rodgers on and these two don't want him on. Can somebody get to the bottom of this or leave a comment?
Went back and forth, and Bill waited until my interview ended. And I just thought that was one of the coolest, classiest things ever. I mean, this is an absolute no-brainer, Hall of Fame, game changer, guy who was a trailblazer in the league and did things no one's ever done before. Arguably the greatest coach in NFL history, and probably will have the record for wins if he wants to keep going in the near future. And he waited for me to finish my press conference or on the field interview to say something nice. So I have a ton of respect for Bill and Nick as well. I mean, I interviewed with Nick Saban at Berkeley in 2005 when he was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. And we obviously went our own ways after that, and he had incredible success. And I've enjoyed watching him on the show this year on your show. So kudos to Nick on a Hall of Fame career, and the amount of players, young men that he's impacted is exponential. Bill, love you, man. So much respect. You changed the game and continue to do that. I know you will keep doing that. So I don't think it's a retirement for Bill. Not sure about Nick. I mean, I feel like he's a lifer too. Maybe he wants to go on TV and out of coaching and take some stress off or spend more time with his kids, grandkids, wife, whatever it might be. But the game is better, whether it's college or pro, when those guys are in it.
Hey, thank you for taking time out of your woods retreat that you're on right now to give a little love to Bill Belichick and Saban as they move into a next chapter. You're the man. Mustache looks good too.
No darkness here. You can tell. There's a lot of light. There's
Nice.
good books to actually read behind me. So we're not doing that darkness thing anymore.
Smart. Well, I appreciate you. Ladies, get back to it. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Good day.
Yeah.
I'm really confused at this point. Yeah, I mean, now I'm starting to think he didn't ever want him on the show. But he's back. And he said yesterday, I'm happy he won't be around anymore. I'm glad he's gone. I'm relieved. And then today he's happy he's back. That was McAfee's exact words. So you tell me who's the hypocrite, who's doing what's wrong, what's actually going on here. Does McAfee and Hawk actually like Aaron Rodgers? I don't know what's going on, so I'm hoping to get to the bottom of it. But it seems to me like McAfee's contradicting himself. And if they are friends, him and Aaron Rodgers, you could have took his back a little bit more.